Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you my 4 best tips for tomorrow's racing. Now before we get into that, I've just got a couple of announcements to make. First of all, I won't be recording a Loaders Lane to Cheltenham this week or an Eye Catchers episode. That's because I haven't had a lot of time and I'm going to be really busy over the next few days. So apologies for that, but I still will be doing the normal tips here on my YouTube channel. And before I go into those tips for tomorrow, which I know you all want me to go into, but I just want to quickly reflect on how our tips performed today. In the end, we don't know how we've done at the moment because I'm recording this just before 7 o'clock, and we still have one more tip to run this evening tonight at Wolverhampton, but it's been a bit of a mixed bag so far today. We started off on a positive note with a winning that. We put up Staghorn for Holly Doyle and Archie Watson, was a really convincing winner in the end, absolutely bolted up, and he's really been a progressive stayer this season, and I'll be interested to see him have a crack at least group company next time out next season. I think he could be a cup horse for the future. He's done very well and he put all his rivals to bed today, so it was a really nice performance from him. Away from that, yes, it was disappointing. Gateway to Europe probably just found the race a little bit too competitive in the end. He had some strong form from Fontwell from his chase debut, as both horses had gone on to win on their subsequent starts, but yeah, he just couldn't live with them today. And maybe he wants slightly shorter, maybe he wants 2 miles. He seemed to get outpaced, and the other horses were able to go past him. But I do think in the end it's going to be quite a nice race that could definitely throw out a few subsequent winners. I think that Dr. Sanderson could be a nice horse this season over fences, so that was disappointing there. And then as well our long shot was very disappointing. Fella the first flight hurdles, but I believe or fell at the second flight hurdles I should say, but I believe Daniel Sampson and also as well the horse got up okay, so at least they did, so that was very frustrating there. We never got a run for our money. And then Wolf Prince was one of our extra tips of the day, and he finished in 3rd place at Gore, and he ran respectively, but in the end he just bumped into a horse that was better treated than him on the day. So yeah, it started off well and then it has gone downhill today, but fingers crossed we can have a winner in the 7:30 at Wolverhampton with Champ de Revs. But unless he wins, we would have come out with a small loss today. So hopefully we can turn it around and have some winners anyway tomorrow if our selection doesn't win in the 7:30 at Wolverhampton. So let's get into the thick of things now with the tips for tomorrow's racing. And we've got 4 tomorrow across a variety of cards, and we're going to be starting in the 2:35 at Yarmouth with a horse called Whitehaven for Andrea Zaney and Hughie Morrison. You can currently back this horse at 3-1. It's going to be my nap. Now, last time we saw this horse, it was a clear winner at Yarmouth last week when absolutely bolting up and really looked like the best handicapped horse in the field. Now, this horse, he is probably going to have to step up a little bit tomorrow, and we'll probably need a career best performance. But the way he travelled into that race last time and the way he put his rivals to bed suggests that you like to think that he's got a bit more to come from him. Now, that trip that he ran over last time was over 10 furlongs, and he's going to be stepping up an extra couple of furlongs tomorrow. However, like I said, the way he went through the race, you would definitely think that going up and trip should be absolutely fine. And that was the first time as well that he tackled soft ground, and it's going to be soft ground tomorrow, and it seems like these conditions are definitely up his street. He will have to carry the £6 penalty. However, I still think he's fairly treated at the weights, to be honest with you. And I think if the handicapper had a chance to reassess him, he probably would have put him up more than £6, and I think he would have every chance of following up again. Also as well, another positive is Andrea Zaney, an underrated jockey in my opinion, keeps the ride. It was the first time he ever rode this horse last time out, so I just think there's a lot in this horse's favour to run another big race tomorrow, and I think he can go in again. So for me, a 3-1, he's going to be mine out tomorrow, and I hope he can get the job done for us in the 2:35 at Yarmouth. We then go the next best for the 3 o'clock at Newcastle, and my next best tomorrow is going to be running in this race with a horse called Fresh for Daniel Tudhope and James Fanshawe. Again, you can back this horse at 3-1. and I think this horse running at Newcastle tomorrow, the track could really suit him. He's been running some nice races this season in some handicaps. Arguably, he probably should have won his last 2 starts, really. He probably should have won last time at Ascot on soft ground when he came from the towards the rear of the field, and he was the only one that did stay on, and he absolutely flew home, and in another stride or two he would have got up, and the winner that day, Stone Circle, had first run on him, so maybe you can forgive him that. Also as well, he was a fast finishing 4th at Doncaster that day at the St Leger Festival when he ran in a really competitive handicap there, but he was well fancied for that race. And also as well, he's got some nice form earlier in the book, finishing 2nd to Starman. So yeah, this season he's done pretty well, Fresh, and yes, he has been maybe frustrating a couple of times. However, I just think the way the track is going to be at Newcastle tomorrow, where normally, especially over the sprint course, it's not always a great move to be up there with the front. And if they do go hard, which I do think they will tomorrow, it could set up really nicely for a strong travelling type like Fresh. And I just think running at Newcastle tomorrow, the track could be absolutely tailor-made for him. And James Fanshaw's horses has been running well as well. They're operating at an 18% strike rate, so they have been having a few winners here and there. And I just think tomorrow, Fresh, if he gets a strong pace, there's a few front runners around him. If they do go hard, I think it could set up really nicely for him, and I'd be disappointed if he isn't coming with a late run at the end of his race. So for me, he's going to be my next best tomorrow, and hopefully we can get a winner there. We then go with my extra tip of the day, which runs in the 4 o'clock at Exeter for a bit of jumping action. My only jump selection tomorrow, and we're going to be going with a horse here called Who Shot JR for Robbie Power and Colin Tizard. You can currently back him at 6-1. Now you are going to have to put a line through his run at Foss last time when he was trying 3 miles for the first time in his career, but I think you can definitely put a line through that run. He was actually backed into favouritism that day with short as 2-1. However, I just think he didn't stay the trip, and also as well the ground was a little bit more tested than the going description actually suggests that day. There had been a little bit of rain around before that meeting at Foss last, so I'll probably forgive him that, because I don't really think he wants any cut in the ground whatsoever, and the quick ground at Exeter tomorrow is currently good to firm. I think this will be more up his street. If you look through some of his form last season, he did show a little bit of ability. He won a novice hurdle at Taunton around about this time last year. I think it was back in November. So he has definitely got some ability, and his first start of the season over fences was an incredible race at Newton Abbot when he finished in 5th place. And if he replicates that kind of performance tomorrow, I think he's got a really good chance. Also as well, I'm quite positive on the equipment being added tomorrow. He's going to be having a first time tongue tie, and also as well cheek pieces. So I think if that can just eke out a little bit more of improvement from him, I think it could go quite nicely. And he's a horse, if you especially as well go back to that Taunton run, that likes, I think, a strong pace to aim at. And there's going to be a few front runners in here tomorrow. You've got the likes of Rococo River, they'll probably go forward, and I could just see Robbie Power riding just in behind the pace. And like I said, if he jumps well tomorrow and these aids can help him, I think he's a massive player. And even off a mark of 110, I still think he might have a few pounds in hand if everything goes right. He obviously will have to have things go his way, but in this small field tomorrow, I just think he's got a good chance, and he is maybe a little bit underestimated in the market, and I think you can put a line through that run at Foss last. So for me at 6-1, I think he's a little bit of a big price in this field. It doesn't look a particularly strong race, and if he does have the ability that he showed last season, I think he's more than capable of winning this race, and that's why he is going to be my extra tip of the day. We then go with my final tip of the day in the 6:40 at Kempton for the Longshot, and we go with Nefarious here for Adam Kirby and Henry Candy. You can currently back this horse at 15-2. I'm going to recommend an each way selection here. Now this horse, I think he's got a really good chance in this race tomorrow. He's going to be running over 6 furlongs at Kempton. Now a lot of people will say some of his best form has come over 7 furlongs. However, I just think the way he might be ridden tomorrow, if he's ridden prominently, that could really suit him. If you've noticed that Kempton recently, we've had a few winners there over the last few weeks. Horses that have been running up with the pace, they've definitely been the ones that seem to have been making the frame at least. And Nefarious has normally done that in his career, raced prominently, and when his wins or his placed efforts have come up on his CV, if you look at the notes or if you watch the race replays, he has been ridden prominently. And Adam Kirby is normally a jockey that does that very well. He normally can get a horse into a good position, especially this time of year we're coming up normally a master of tracks like Lingfield, for example, he always, I think, seems to get the horses in a very good position, especially on the all-weather. And I think this horse has a good chance in this race tomorrow. And like I said, if you look back at some of its older form, it finished second at Kempton over 7 furlongs here earlier in its career. And I just think having that stamina edge for over a slightly further trip might just help this horse in the race of this nature tomorrow. And if he can get a good prominent position, maybe just tracking the pace or even making it, I think this horse has every chance of hanging on with that stamina edge, you know, because there are a few horses in here tomorrow that I would say are probably more 5 furlong specialists and probably just don't have that extra speed to hold on at the end. So for me, Nefarious, if he can get away to a good start in a prominent position, I think he's got a really good chance in this race tomorrow. I'm quite keen on his chances. So that's going to be my long shot of the day. That's Nefarious in the 6:40 at Kempton. So they're the 4 tips for tomorrow. Quickly just recap through them. In the 2:35 at Yarmouth, Whitehaven is the nap of the day. 3-1 win only bet. The next best runs in the 3 o'clock at Newcastle with a horse called Fresh, win only bet at 3-1. In the 4 o'clock at Exeter, Who Shot JR, 6-1, that's the extra tip, win only bet. And in the 6:40 at Kempton, we go over Nefarious for Adam Kirby and Henry Candy, 15-2 each way, and that is the long shot of the day. So they're the 4 tips for tomorrow's racing. If you're enjoying these videos, please remember as well to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, check out my website, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please carry on responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.